Here, I'm going to start recording. All right, welcome to Martha Stewart, aka Sarah, giving our Whole Foods cooking demo. We're so excited for at our B3 retreat. We've got all kinds of fun times going on here, but food is always the best. So, Sarah, thanks for doing this for us. And she's got all food prepared, and she's just going to talk to us a little bit about how she does her Whole Foods cooking. And Sarah, if you don't mind sharing a little bit of your story, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So in kind of a nutshell, because it's kind of a comprehensive story, about 3.5 years ago, I found out I had a condition called, well, most people know it's fatty liver disease, but it was stage 1 liver disease, which is a metabolic disorder where my body doesn't like to process certain foods. And I needed to lose a lot of weight. And the doctors recommended that I needed to drop about 100 pounds. And the best way for me to do that was to change a lot of things in my diet. And so got together with a really good friend of mine, Andy Jerome and Inessa Amaderas, and they helped me figure out what I needed to change in my diet that was going to be the most beneficial for my liver and my pancreas. I was in insulin resistance as well. So my pancreas was struggling, my liver was really having a hard time, and figured out what foods were triggering, which foods were giving my body really hard times digesting, just slow metabolism, a whole bunch of different things. And later on, we factored in exercise. But for the first 3 months, we just focused on what I was eating to kind of not shock my body all at once. And we decided the best course of action for me was to go through a whole food and plant-based kind of lifestyle. Some people call it vegan, some people call it vegetarian. I call it whole food plant-based. Whatever grows in the ground and comes from a tree, comes from a nut, a seed, that's pretty much what I eat. I don't eat any animal products. And this isn't something that I force on anybody. I just like to educate people so that they know the facts and then they make the decisions for themselves. So hopefully today you'll take something away with this clean eating and implement something into your lifestyle to help you eat healthier. So the first thing I've done, I went ahead and cleaned and peeled a lot of these vegetables.
So beautiful.
A lot of people they think, oh, my spring mix is already in a box, I don't need to clean it. Wash everything. In fact, Jean, if you want to show the zinc, the spring mix and spinach, I actually have it soaking in cold water, and then I will drain it. There's so much that even just having, there's pesticides, there's stuff that just sits dormant in the refrigerators from transportation and handling. You want to get that washed off your food. Myself, I have had food poisoning a couple times, and no one likes to go through those bouts of it. And it's 9 times out of 10, it's going to be on your lettuce. And so get that washed and rinsed, and then let it sit and drain. So the lettuce is actually the first thing I washed, and then I let it sit and drain in a colander before I cut it. And then peel everything. And so I do this, you can see over here, I wash and prep on one mat, and then I bring over and then I cut and chop on another mat. So anything that was dirty while I was cutting stays dirty over there. It's just like taking, and if you have fish, you cut on one mat, and then when you've got your cooked meat, you cut it on a separate mat. So I kind of apply the same concepts of germs with fruits and vegetables. The less likely you are to be sick, the more happy your body's going to be. And no one likes to have a stomach flu, let alone induce something that you could have prevented in the first place. The most common question I get with having this lifestyle is, how do you get enough protein? How do you get enough nutrients? And everything in the vegetable and plant world, the darker the color, you're going to have protein in. All vegetables have protein in them. It's just a matter of how much protein is in them. And so there's other ways to get protein besides your vegetables. You get it in your nuts and your seeds. You can get it in beans. You can get it in, we'll have hard-boiled eggs that we'll be putting on the salad. You can do hard cheeses. Hard cheeses don't have the casein, which is the protein or the lactate that people have a lot of time reacting to. So this is a hard Parmesan cheese. Yeah. And one tip with cheese, if you're going to buy cheese and you like to do dairy, always buy it in a block. don't buy it pre-shredded in a bag. When it comes pre-shredded in a bag, and this is just my pet peeve.
Guilty.
It's shredded, and the reason it stays so nicely shredded is because it's coated in wax.
Or potato starch.
Yeah, and so if it's good,
Yeah.
shredded. But most shredded cheeses, it's covered in a wax so that it stays separated. So you're better off getting it in a block and shredding it yourself. I know it's a pain in the butt, but put your band on to make it work out, you know. Get yourself a KitchenAid mixer and shred it.
Where's your bands?
So it's better to buy it in the block. So with that, it's fun to have good kitchen tools. I always say your tools are your best assets. You know, we have our bands because it's the best things for our bodies, having good kitchen tools, sharp knives so you don't have injuries. Having a good mandolin, I love. It makes chopping and, you know, dicing a lot faster. This is just a cheap one from Walmart. I think it's like $10. It comes with 2 different blades on it, so I can dice and slice, just depending on which way I flip it over. And I'll probably do them both. So just some quick tips on, as I'm kind of talking, I'll do kind of here. When making salads, let me wash my hands real quick. Move this over.
New on the cheese. I bought shredded cheese in pounds when I freeze it.
Yeah.
I have a cheese shredder that goes to my KitchenAid. So
That's
all I
what
do
I
is put it in there
Yeah.
and push the thing down.
Yeah,
And then do you do both and freeze that, or you just
I
shred
do
it
that.
for
I buy,
use? You buy
because my
that and then
boys,
shred it all
so
at
I
once?
don't do a lot, I only do Parmesan and Asiago because they're hard cheeses and it's
Mhm.
easiest on my body. But my boys, I'll do the mozzarella and the cheddar and all that. And I'll buy the big blocks
And
and
then
I
you
shred
shred it
them
all.
and then I just freeze them.
Okay.
And they're little quart bags and then they stay in the freezer. Nice.
Yeah.
Just some tips. I'll give you some quick little cooking tips. Some of you use these or know them or don't. When you're cutting or dicing, always hold the smallest end of like the carrot. That way, when you get down to the end, you have the smallest bit in your hand and not the largest piece. Usually that's the piece I end up throwing in my mouth at the end.
I was just gonna say, then you eat it.
Yeah. And so this one, you just take it down and what this ended up cut, it's then just little tiny pieces. So,
Did that come with a piece that you?
it comes with a guard, but like with
Yeah.
carrots or
Yeah, the handle
celery,
thingy.
Right.
you're not gonna use it. So I usually take it down. And so I can,
Chopping my finger off with one of those. When I was pregnant.
and that's why I do a fist and not push
Yeah.
when I do carrots. And I can see it, I usually stop right about there. Take these down like this. And you can see how fast this is just cutting down this carrot. And so you can have, 5 carrots done in less than a minute versus standing here and chopping forever. I will usually food prep and do salads twice a week. And that's not because I eat a lot of salads. I have my son, who's 19, who is a salad whore, as we call him in our house. I make them for myself and then I find out that he's eaten 3 salads in one day, which,
Wow.
hey, if you can get a teenager to eat salads, then I will make salads. And the best way to keep your salads from like wilting or having everything go bad is just to throw a piece of paper towel on top and it absorbs the extra moisture. So you can get your little salads to last for about 4 days when they're all pre-made and prepped in the fridge. The other thing is when I prep these, when I get these nice food prep ones and they have like a divided dish, I'll actually take like the garbanzo beans or the cheese and put all those in separate bags. So everything's in one thing and it's ready to go. And all they have to do is grab the salad dressing, especially for my husband who just grabs it and takes it to work. He's got the whole salad with the protein, all the vegetables mixed in, everything's there. I think that for most people, the biggest transition in making that healthy lifestyle is thinking that I have to do it overnight, and you don't. It's just like when you start exercising, we're not going to do it all at once. You learn things in baby steps. Find out what works for you and do it a little at a time. So if you decide that you're going to cut sugar out of your diet, start by cutting out, if you're a soda drinker, start by reducing your sodas by, taking 1 less soda a day or I'm not going to drink it after 4 o'clock, and wean your body off of things that aren't good for you and replace it with something that is good for you. For those who are trying to give up meats or animal products, I recommend that you start with just replacing 1 or 2 meals a week with things that aren't, with animal products. And you'll see that it's actually a really easy transition. Anytime you shock the body by removing something and trying to replace it, you're naturally going to want to fight it, and then you just revert back to doing your old ways. So that's kind of my biggest tip is don't do it overnight. Don't do it cold turkey. Do it in baby steps. I'm gonna bring over here some sprouts. How many people love sprouts? Everybody's almost
Mhm.
raising their hand.
I didn't know
Did
they
you
made
know that
spicy
sprouts
Oh, those are spicy.
are considered a vegetable? This is a vegetable, even though this is alfalfa, and these are broccoli sprouts. And I got 2 different kinds, and we're gonna keep them separate. And I'm gonna kind of have everything out here today for the salads, separate. And this was completely soaked in water, and then I drained it. Again, anything's been sitting on a shelf, has been sitting, catching everything, everybody in the grocery store, coughing, sneezing, walking by, picking up, do I want this, do I don't want it, putting it down. So I literally wash everything, let it soak, and then drain it. But sprouts, you can grow them yourselves, and it literally costs pennies, but I mean, yeah, it's only a couple dollars, so it's fast and easy. But vegetables in themselves, if you take like carrot seeds and you grow them and you sprout them, and you eat carrot sprouts or broccoli sprouts or alfalfa sprouts or whatever, the highest nutritional content of that vegetable is going to be when it's in the sprout format. You're going to have the most protein, you're going to have the most vitamins in this content. And this is probably one of the easiest ways that you can eat sprouts or eat proteins or eat the highest nutrient of the vegetable. And you can just put it on, if you like cream cheese or whatever, some sort of spread, put it on crackers and throw your sprouts on, or throw it in your salads, throw it in your sandwiches, throw it in your smoothies. And you're just going to get tons and tons of nutrients in these sprouts. And so, and most of them, you don't even taste them. They're pretty tasteless. There's some spicy ones. There are some that have some stronger flavors than others, depending on what vegetable seed that they come from. But if you haven't tried sprouts, or you're not a sprout person, I'd say give them a try. I absolutely love them in salads. I'll probably do them 2 to 1 I'll throw this whole thing in a salad. And so give it a shot. Next thing is trying to make your plate as colorful as possible. Shooting for every color of the rainbow is a really big thing, because the vitamins, the A and C that's in a carrot is different than the vitamin A and C that's in a tomato. And your body absorbs them differently. And if you just think, oh, I'm just going to eat oranges every day because they're high in vitamin C, your body, your liver may need, or your pancreas, or certain organs need different parts of different vitamins, just like how many B vitamins do we have? There's lots. There's lots of different grades of the vitamin C and vitamin A and vitamin D, all these different vitamins. And our vegetables are rich in color because they have different vitamins and different grades of the vitamin in them. So if you take your plate and you make sure whatever you're eating, and you have what we call the rainbow spectrum, then you're going to get a variance of all the different vitamins, and you're going to get more nutrients in those that spectrum of the vitamin rainbow, as I call it. So my goal is always to have at least 8 to 10 colors in a salad, and then I know that I'm getting pretty good, and go from light to dark. So I have some green onions, so that you got some white in here. I've got some radishes. We've got the bell peppers. So there's lots of greens. So we got tomatoes. We'll get the garbanzo beans, which will be kind of the white spectrum, and then the carrots. And then we're throwing in seeds as well today. We've got sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds, and then dried cranberries. And so we've got a pretty wide range here of what we'll be putting in our salad. And the more texture you have to a salad, the funner it is to eat it. When you're just eating what I call a typical, sorry for this
Iceberg lettuce.
Slam on Mormonism, Mormon salad, which is celery, carrots, and iceberg lettuce. It's not a fun salad to eat. you have no desire to sit down and eat it. But when you have like 8 or 10 or 12 different things in it, and throw nuts and seeds and, you know, all this fun stuff, and eggs, and, you know, you want to have a big bowl, and it's actually, then it becomes really filling and it fills you up. People who think, oh, you're just a salad eater, how do you get full on salad? Well, let me tell you, when you have a salad that has all this stuff in it, you get full because you have tons of stuff, and they all carry different nutrients. So I think that's pretty much what I've prepared, other than if you guys want to add anything in the room. Any
I'm going to
comments?
share some of their tips on
What do you
what's
guys have
been
for
helping
tips?
for them.
I've done salads up, you make them in a glass jar, a quart
Oh,
jar.
Uh-huh.
So you put all your heavy things at the bottom, and then your lettuce at top, and they last. Then they know I just got the plastic lids,
Uh-huh.
screw them in. That, and you make up 5 or 7 at a time.
Hmm.
You're ready to grab and go.
Yeah, sometimes if I don't have time to do all the stuff, I'll just make a lettuce wrap. And
Yeah.
just wash my lettuce really well and then throw my stuff together in the lettuce. That takes five minutes or less. So pre-cooked chicken or hard-boiled eggs and your nuts and seeds for your protein. I don't really like to eat salad without a protein unless I have a separate protein, but you know.
So one thing I was going to talk about, so a lot of people like to have meat, or some people like to have meat on their salads. Can you hand me the bag that's in the freezer? So tonight we're going to use some of our leftover, some of our leftover vegetables. So I'm not going to I'm putting everything in little containers so everybody can, it's going to be like a salad bar. They can put what they want in their salads. Everybody has different dietary needs and things that they can or can't have in their meals. And so some of the stuff, like, we won't go through all these carrots for the salad, but we're going to do stir fry tonight. And so what are some meat replacements other than tofu that are out there? Because tofu is just straight soy, and there's a lot of us who have breast cancer in our family, so I strictly stay away from soy, so I don't do any tofu. There are some good meat replacement products out there that actually do taste good. And my favorite is this one. It's called corn, and it's made from mung beans. And you just warm it up in a frying pan with a little either olive oil. I usually do some diced garlic, and then whatever I want it to cook. So tonight I'll put in a chicken bouillon, and it'll take on the flavor of chicken. And so tonight we'll have this, so everybody can try it tonight as an option. And then we'll also have some chicken breast to have. So we'll have 2 options to have, either real chicken with the cashew chicken stir fry that we're having, or this meatless chicken option that they can try. But I'll cook this up and have it in the fridge and have them for my salads. I'll use that for chicken enchiladas, anything I do chicken. And we just use that right as a chicken stir replacement. My teenage boys don't even know. If they walk in and see me doing this, they're like, oh, it's another vegan dinner, and they throw a fit. But if they walk in 45 minutes later, or they don't see me preparing anything, then they have no idea that I've made, a ground beef, a lasagna out of this, and I dice it up, and they have no idea. And it's just an easy way. So one thing I will talk about with our bodies, the 2 biggest causes, and this is just me, information that I found going through my journey. So for me, one of the biggest reasons I went off of meat and animal products was I found that it causes a lot of inflammation. It's hard for your liver to digest, and being that I was in liver disease, I had to eliminate it to get my liver condition under control. And in the research that I found, there's 2 things that cause the most inflammation in our body, and one is sugar. It's the #1 inflammation source for our body when we take in sugar, and the second one is animal meat. And animal meat, it takes about 7 to 14, up to 21 days for your body to completely process it, digest it, and for you to eliminate it. And so when you do eliminate those products from your body, you have less bloating, you have less inflammation, your body just functions better, and you feel all over better. So if you want to give something a try, I challenge you to do a 30-day fast from meat and see how your body feels. But like I said, it's not for everybody. But if you're feeling like your body just isn't functioning right, give it a try. See how you feel, and see if it's for you.
What about eggs?
Eggs, it's on a different category. Sometimes I have them, sometimes I don't.
Free range versus
Yeah.
It's like,
Walmart
I
special.
know that, like with medical media, and they're always talking about how eggs will keep the virus in your body.
Yeah.
and
He's a
I
very,
just don't
and he's very,
I just don't know if I can
Yeah.
into that. But
Yeah, and so, and I actually had a food sensitivity test, and chicken and red meats, I scored moderately high on that it's aggravated for my body, but eggs didn't show that it was. And so I think eggs are on just their own playing field. So you just have to kind of, like I said, do a trial and error for your body, see what your body likes, see what your body doesn't like, and see what happens.
Any questions for Sarah? Or any other comments out there?
I want to try that meat substitute again, talk about that again.
So this
The corn?
corn,
Yeah, tell me about that.
so it's made from mung beans. There's a couple other things in with it. But you base it, so it's kind of the concept of like tofu. It takes on the flavor of whatever you cook with. So we'll put it in a frying pan. I use chicken bouillon. Sometimes I don't do chicken bouillon. I just do garlic and a little olive oil to cook it up, and then I add it to whatever I'm cooking. So you, like if you were doing diced chicken, you'd cook your chicken first, and then you'd add it to your meals. And you just warm this up. It's in the frozen food section at the
What is
grocery
it
store.
called?
Corn. Quorn.
where do you get it?
So pretty much all the grocery stores now have it. Walmart and Winco are the cheapest. You'll probably spend $3 or $4 more at like Natural Grocers for the exact same bag.
Is it with the meat?
It's in the frozen food section in the vegetarian or the health food section.
How much
What do you-
protein is in this?
Let's see. So there's 17 grams of protein in the serving, which is a cup. So it's a pretty good amount. And
Would you put beef bouillon to make it taste like hamburger?
And where do you get your bouillon that doesn't have the MSG in it?
I use the Better Than bouillon
Where do you get that?
at Costco.
There is one that you can, I use it, sometimes I'll use that. Are they cubes?
No, it's
No,
in
it's
a jar.
In the jar, that's what I
Yeah.
said, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's one that's like an organic or something that I look for that specifically because I don't
Yeah.
want.
Or you can use chicken stock or, stock
MSG.
that you make your own stock and reduce it down.
Yeah, because I've been looking for that for a long
Depending
time.
on where the chicken-
Costco carries that.
Mhm. Yeah.
You can make your own bone broth.
Yeah.
Too. I mean, I know that's a little more work, but if you just go buy a whole chicken and throw it in a pot, put in like a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar and let it sit there to draw out the marrow. So it would be like getting your collagen or your gelatin from it, and it will draw out those nutrients. So glutathione, there's a lot of nutrients there. And then you just bring it to a boil, scrape off any froth, and then take it to a simmer. And I'll let that simmer for 24 hours. And then at the last half hour, I'll put in a ton of veggies just to flavor that up and salt.
I need to write that down.
Yeah,
It's super
I don't
simple.
know the apple cider vinegar. I do my own
It
broth.
draws
but I
that.
never did that.
Yeah.
The Instant Pot has great ways to do.
Oh,
Broth.
yeah.
Oh,
True.
cool.
You can do your own home broth.
I bet you could do it quicker.
I just put out in the garage.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah.
Good smell.